Hey. Oh my gosh. Hello. Go, Tina, go.
Yes. Hi, Angeline. Hello, Barbara. I thought you were going to let us surprise the people with her. Well,
I know, we just brought her on. I was like, I got on my tech thing all like messed up, y'all. The timer went off and y'all already saw all three of us on there when the live stream started, and then all of a sudden the timer was on. I was like, well, we're all here.
No worries, no worries. Well, I want to welcome everyone that's here. I am Stars Tina, that's Angeline. And as you know, we have an event coming up in less than 2 weeks. It's called Elevate Your Business. Barbara, you spoke last year. This year is even bigger than ever. And I saw your message on Instagram. You said authentic is your word. So before you get into that authentic, can I tell you look amazing? Like, do you ever have like not good hair day or anything like that?
I have the worst hair. You are too kind. But no, every day is a gamble, but thank you.
I love it. I love it. For those that don't know, can you just share a little bit of who you are? The thing that I love most about you is you're real. Like you said, authentic. You put the work in and you're winning. Can you tell us, for those that don't know, we know how amazing you are. Can you tell everyone who you are and a little bit about you? As soon as Angeline gets you back on the screen. She's trying to be fancy. She always does that, Barbara. She's got to do the most.
Yeah, I do. You know what? I'm going to try to live stream this. Hold on.
Yes.
Where's Tina? I'm going to put this, and I'm not going to do, I need a description. Join in. I didn't know I could do this on stream.
Yes, let's go. Because today I want to get into the real meat and potatoes of business, Barbara, because I have a big dilemma that I'm going through right now, and I want your advice on it with your authentic. Look at her face. She's like, oh my gosh.
Well, I'm all in. I'm like, tell me everything.
But I want you to tell everyone who you are, because you're an expert and you're where we all want to be. So go for it. Miss, I got a plane. I got a jet.
I think we're all a work in progress and a masterpiece simultaneously. It's one of my favorite quotes because it really resonates with me. Like when I hear, oh, Barbara, you're an expert. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I'm using my experiences to serve others. And one of my favorite quotes is, the only emancipation from suffering is to help others. So as I kind of grow through different experiences, I like to kind of share it, the good, the bad, the ugly. But for anybody who doesn't know me, I am an on-air television personality. I do lifestyle and entertainment on Today's Show, Inside Edition, Fox and Friends. I just dressed up as Olivia Newton-John for the Today Show, which is a ton of fun. And now it's television is a career I launched in my 40s. Once I really took charge of my own life, did my own checkup from the neck up, and realized I was the biggest problem. I was the problem stopping me from living out my best life. So now I try to help others not wait until they're confronted with their own mortality before they live at the highest expression of who they are meant to live at. And that's kind of where you find me right now. And I had sent you a message earlier. I'm like, we're going to talk because authenticity is a word that is just pulsating through my veins. And I don't know if this is going to resonate with you or what you're going to ask, but for me, I'm navigating a lot of different political things that I have a dog in the fight. I have skin in the game. It very much affects me. But I'm also still putting food on the table, being passionate about my book that's coming out, my career, dressing up like Olivia Newton-John. But at the same time, really in the midst of one of the most hostile political climates that we have been in my lifetime. I'm 50. So my 50 years of being on the earth, I have never seen and hope to never see it again. Such a very hostile time towards.
I did see one of your posts. It was actually a live, and I don't watch the news too often because it's very triggering for me and I have to protect my brain. And would you like to share a little bit about that? Because with the authenticity, you know, I ask different people different things, and I can see it's very passionate about. You got a book coming out. What's the book about? I know I'm throwing all the questions.
The book finally is Sabotage to Success. And it really is all about my own personal missteps that I try to use so that maybe other people can see their own obstacles that they're putting in their pathway to abundance. I really was the one who limited myself. I had a lot of fear. I cared so much about the weight of other people's opinions. And I just had a lot of negative self-talk. And when I took inventory of it and I started to shift it, my life started to change. And I'm never going back. Like where I exist today, I feel is a higher expression of me. And again, I'm a work in progress. I am still working on always living at my very best and letting the chips fall. So I can answer the first part to your question. I'll just jump right into that. But you had asked, like, how am I navigating? So I am Jewish. I'm descendant of Holocaust survivors, but I've never really identified much with it. I just knew it was part of me. But my father grew up with his parents who were both survivors, and he had no aunts, no uncles, no grandparents. They immigrated to the US when he was 5. He has a birth certificate from Germany, but he's not German. That's not our ancestry. I don't know. We'll find that word later. Anyway, I just was like, yeah, to whatever it is, and so on. Anyway, there's a lot of turmoil right now in Israel and the Middle East, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's rises in anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, and it's just it's been kind of a hotbed. So I've really, Tina and Angeline, I've really dove into the history, because I'm like, if these people are oppressed, and I want to serve and use my voice to advocate for the oppressed. I want everyone to be free and live well. But I'm learning there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of hate, a lot of terroristic undertones to these rallies. And I'm like, oh, Barbara, stay quiet. Just let it go, like, be quiet. Just focus on, being Olivia Newton-John for Halloween. But Tina, Angeline, that's not me being authentic. It's me trying to hope that somebody's going to speak on the Jewish people's behalf. It's me hoping somebody else fights the good fight. It's me putting my head in the sand and hoping this goes away. And the truth is, the Holocaust started almost 80 years ago, or not started 80 plus years ago, because people did stay silent. And so here's where I'm landing with authenticity. I got to leave it all out on the field. I have got to do all the things that I have to do and leave it out there with the best of intentions. I can only control what my intention is with my messaging, and I have to let it land wherever it is. My intention right now is a duality of serving to be a voice for the oppressed and for peace in the Middle East, while simultaneously putting food on the table and doing my work. And that is it's just a juxtaposition and a duality that is awkward, but I can't control the outcome, because I was like, oh my God, I'm like, forget it. I'm doing it all. I'm using all my platforms to use my voice, and I can't give a rat's ass, oh, we don't like your views. That's okay. But at least I'm sharing it, and I'm advocating for what I believe, what I know to be true. So it's an awkward place. It's awkward AF.
Would you say it's scary, Barbara, to just jump out what the norm? Like I said, I don't listen to the news because it would probably be caught. People that do know that they're quiet. What do you think this is going to do, you speaking out? Do you think it's going to make a difference at all?
I feel that at least no matter what happens, I didn't go out without a fight. If there's a rise in anti-Semitism and I'm being silent, then I have given a voice to to evil. And I've let other people battle, but I am in the battle right now, advocating for the hostages to be released. And I came to this really great space, which not great, but it's better than where I was. And as these hostages are getting released, I think to myself, when I meet them in person, because they are going to be in society, in real life at some point. And when our paths cross, I can stand and look them in the eye and say, I never forgot about you. I stood up when people ripped down your posters. I did what I could in my small part of the world. I knew you were innocent. I knew you didn't deserve that. And I kept you. I did what I could. And even if it was in the smallest sector of this world, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I did the best I could with the resources that I have, and my resources are my voice. And that's where I'm at. So, Tina, and that's a great question. I'm afraid. I don't like when people come at me and they label me. I have been threatened. I have, people have said like really nasty things to me. They've called me old, and I'm like, they call me a geriatric, like stupid shit. And at first I was like, well, that wasn't nice. And now I'm like, anything I take in this arena of people are throwing stones at me, it is nothing compared to what these hostages are dealing with, nothing with these innocent Palestinians are dealing with, then I can deal with somebody calling me a geriatric. It is nothing compared to the plight of all of these innocent civilians, whether they're Palestinian or Jewish. So at least I'm doing something, and I don't know where it's going to land, but I can go. If I don't wake up tomorrow, I did the right thing today.
And that's what I love about your heart there, Barbara, when you are bringing all this up and bringing it to the forefront, like you feel that responsibility of you have a platform where your voice is heard across more people around the world. And I say globally, because I feel, Barbara, you resonate globally with people. And when did that like hit with you that you have this responsibility to not be quiet then?
I think that when I was staying quiet, I wasn't sleeping. And I was like, oh my God, I'm living in fear and I'm just not being authentic to myself. I'm afraid to lose followers. I'm afraid for somebody to, call me a geriatric. I'm afraid. But my fear in comparison to what all of these people in the Middle East are navigating is minuscule. And I'm not sleeping because I'm not doing anything. When I do something and I lay my head down at night, I feel that I did my best. I did my very best to do something and not do anything. And I want to like pull it up because I posted it recently and it's landed for so many people. And it was on, I put it on Facebook, and now I'm just because I don't want to destroy the quote, which I'm kind of notorious for like rewriting a really good quote to be very Barbara-esque. But it's by Einstein. It said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. And sometimes I just have to hear these messages, repeat these messages so that they embed in my own subconscious mind of like, go to bed and feel like you did something that you had a passion about. Now there's several politics, like world politics, that I couldn't tell you that I understood. Don't ask me about the Ukraine, the fight. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Russia, the Ukraine, the Sudan. I'm not well versed in that. So I'm not called to that. I don't have a voice in that, but I can listen and I can learn. But here I have a voice, and to not use it is being inauthentic. To not use my voice to speak for the most vulnerable, the most impacted, is not being me. And like I said, when I text you, I said, I'm going to be authentic. I'm just, and again, like you could think, and some people are like, river to the sea, we shall be free, chanting this. Little do they know they're calling for the extermination of the Jews. They're calling for the extermination of me and my people and my kids. I'm like, can we
pause, pump the brakes there? Let's see what we're really saying.
I see such growth, and from last year to this year, you're like a totally different person. I'm not saying last year you were foo-foo la, but it was like very fun, light, and now you're so focused. I see with your business and now with this. What do you think made that happen with your business? How did you elevate your business this year?
You know, I think again, it's just keep growing and keep showing up and keep learning. I think I've taken a lot of hits, a lot of setbacks along the way to growth, but I continue to stay true with a message that I heard a long time ago, and that success and happiness, abundance, joy, prosperity, those are all byproducts of living in service of others. How can you use what you have to serve others? And it continues to get me over some of these road bumps. And when I don't always understand it, in retrospect, I realize all of these struggles that I had to kind of go through over the last year built me to be a lot more focused and a lot more resilient, and a lot more confident, because no matter how many times I got pushed down, like somebody literally stole money from me. And that was a big blow. I was like, oh my God, because it makes you feel stupid. And like, I thought I was better than that, but it happens to the best of us. Billy Joel lost millions. But when I go back to what I'm doing, I'm like, I didn't do it for the money. Money's a byproduct. Success is a byproduct. I have to continue to serve. And when I am not serving and I am staying silent in spaces that I am supposed to speak up, that is when I feel like I'm holding my light down. I'm afraid. I'm living in fear. I'm scared of judgment. And when I can look at that and be like, you're choosing to not do something for all the wrong reasons. Choose to do something because it is the right thing to do. And doing what's right and doing what's easy are very rarely on the same path. Because what I'm doing, advocating in the space I am, is not easy. People are very misinformed. It is a cluster out there. People are getting brainwashed on TikTok, and they have false narratives and beliefs that are not going to help the Palestinians, and they're definitely not going to help the Jews, and they're definitely not going to help the problems we're about ready to have in the United States. So I'm using my voice. It's scary enough, but I can go to bed being like, I did something.
You are going there. You are going there, Mama. I am so proud of you. It is just like, that is a scary topic. And like you said, a lot of people are afraid to go there. So this year, what do you think, besides this topic here, elevate your business? It's in a couple of weeks. If you could think of one thing for next year, if you have a word, I already know your word for next year is authentic. A theme, what's something that you're shooting for to do for next year?
You know, I'm scale. If there's one word, it's just to scale my brand, my message, my community, and help more people move from inspiration to transformation through taking action. If I can do that one thing and scale that to help more people take action, that space, cross that giant abyss from I know what I want, but getting there and doing the work consistently has always eluded me. I'm like, I have your answer. I am your person. I want you to come follow me. Let me teach you how to go from inspiration to transformation by taking action. So it is scaling the messaging of what I do to help more people optimize their health, their wealth, their happiness.
Wow.
I love that. I love that. So good, Barbara. Oh my gosh. When you think of authenticity and elevating your business and then bringing in these topics that are hot, right? Like that people don't even want to touch. What drives you to know that? I'm trying to form my question here. Tina, help me out. Like, is it your family that know that you're building a legacy that they need to also see that their mom is being a voice too, so that they're also being that example as well?
I think there's always that part of me, like my son was like, can you just get back to doing the lifestyle stuff on Twitter instead of like
really?
Controversy?
Because he sees people come at me, and I understand that he wants to protect me and doesn't like that and loves when everybody loves me. We all love being loved. Like there's nothing like, I had a great segment on the Today Show last month for Halloween. love bombing. Everybody was love bombing me. I mean, I was like the best Olivia Newton-John since Olivia.
You really were. You really are, though. You really are.
I was like Sandy, better than Sandy. I really,
Yes, you really were.
I brought Sandy, and that's amazing. Like you get this dopamine and the like, you're like, oh my God, I'm the best thing. So it's very hard for some, like your kid just wants everybody, like they love that. But what I hope in this ass backwards way is that I'm teaching them sticks and stones, will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That no matter what people say, you continue to show up with the best of intentions. Like you cannot let other people dictate who you are, what you stand for, what you're about. If your intentions are aligned with the greater good, then you have to stand tall in the pocket. So I do hope that my kids are saying, yes, people are not being nice to me, but that doesn't stop me from being nice, doesn't stop me from using my voice and advocating for all people. There's not one person that is getting hurt in all of this, but the perception of this oppressed and oppressor and not against terrorism. We got all sorts of conflated narratives that are really very toxic, but I won't.
And then it's hard to know what the truth is because they filter so much. Like it's hard to know what to follow.
I listen to things and I'm like, and I know that person lied. I'm like, that already got debunked. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that person just lied. So for me, lying is such a trigger. But I really want to just empower them to know that sometimes you can be the juiciest peach, but not everybody's going to like peaches. And it's not going to break you as long as you are living authentically, living in service and purpose and fortitude. And I hope I'm also teaching people this, is that if you don't know, ask. If you don't have the answer, it's okay to not understand the crisis in the Middle East. I did not know a lot and I stayed quiet for a very long time. And then I just started getting the history. I don't understand. What is this? What's the Nakba? Like what happened to them? Oh my God, that was a catastrophe. Why did the Jews do that? And then I learned that, wait a second. Y'all didn't want to agree to the agreement, so you tried to blow up the Jewish people, and the Jewish people said, no way. And it turned out to be a, fuck around and find out kind of war. And then you called it a catastrophe because it was, but you started it. But I didn't understand that at first. I was like, shame on the Jews, because I want to know the truth so that when I'm speaking, if what they're saying is like true, well, give them the land back. I kept like free Palestine. I'm like, yeah, free them. I want to like free them, give them their land back. And I'm like doing the research. I'm like, wait, what are you?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's calling for the annihilation of Israel and the Jews. And I'm like, well, why are you doing that? It's not your land. I'm like, what? Like, I like literally, I'm like, somebody make this make sense.
Make it make sense.
But can I just say, I'm giving you big kudos because I would have. I don't know what's going on. What are you talking? Like it takes. First of all, do the homework because, like you said, at first you were like, okay, and then you're like, wait a minute, let me look, and then you're looking, and then it's kind of like, this is totally different. Like Ramon just I did a live with him this morning, and he was like, are you for robots or not for robots? And I said, not for robots. It was a joking thing, and we're going back and forth. And I was like, no. And then I was like, wait a minute, but I like AI. But I like the room service coming, like, so it like kind of both, but you you're on one side, then you had to get more facts. And now it's like, all right, this is where I am. This is where it lands.
And you know where I am? I'm with humanity. I am for the freeing of the Palestinian people. I am for equal rights. I am for democracy. I am still in the same place that I was, but now I understand it from all parties, and I am against terrorism. I am against wholeheartedly Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS. I couldn't even spell Hezbollah 3 months ago.
I can't spell it now.
Yeah, I couldn't spell ISIS, and that's 4 letters. Like I didn't even remember who blew up, in 9/11. I was like, they were bad people, but now I'm so bad people. Bad guys. But I feel like where I can when I can jump in, I can jump in. And sometimes it's just, it's not an easy time. but I have to, again, and what I hope to encourage anybody who's listening, silence is not an option when you know and you have a voice and you have influence, because people are getting sucked into these rallies and they don't even know what they're talking. Like, it's like, wait, you just chanted river to the sea, we shall be free. What are you going to do with the Jews in Israel? Well, they can go back to where they came from. They are back where they came. Like we're about ready to celebrate Christmas, right? The birth of Jesus, who was born in Bethlehem, who is was born Jewish to Jewish parents in Bethlehem, which is in Israel, which he was born 2,000 years before Islam was even invented. But yet it's just this whole like wait fuckery of like, okay, wait a second. You know, like, what are you saying? These kids don't know what they're saying. River to the sea, I shall be free. Okay, we do want you to be free. So anyway, but it is, I'm not going to lie, I much rather talk about the best steals and deals for Christmas than talk about the crisis in the Middle East. But
what I love, though, that you're championing this, Barbara, is that you have elevated yourself to a position because such a time as this, to be able to be that voice, to be that advocate. And you have done the work and you have done all the things to elevate your business time and time again, and all the adversities, all the challenges that you shared before in your story, and getting on the Today Show and showing up at age 40 and overcoming all these things. And now you're in a position to be able to be that voice. So I love it.
Well,
I love you. It just started. It's just starting.
Well, let me say this. So, you know, this is what's so important where you're meeting me right now is I've gone through so much in my life, and we all have. You, Tina, everyone that's listening, there's adversity that you have gone through. And when you've overcome that, you realize it built these muscles that now are imperative for warfare. Like my muscles that I built through a very difficult divorce, through cancer, through setbacks, and like through COVID, like the COVID thing, and me taking a very polarizing stance in COVID and not being liked in that, it has built this muscle, this grit, and this I don't know, fortitude. Like I am unbreakable. I'm like, there's nothing you can say to me that is going to move me off my mark when I am staying in this space of human rights, civil liberties, and advocating for the most vulnerable. As long as I'm in that vertical, I cannot do wrong. And no matter what comes at me, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. But it was all those sticks and stones that were thrown at me, right? And the words that were thrown at me that built this new version of me. But sometimes when you're going through something, you're like, what you doing now? What you doing? But I can't, that's where I think what you're saying really does resonate for me.
So good. And I love that you use that quote, sticks and stones will break your bones because words will never hurt me. I always say, like, that was the biggest lie as a child for me, to be like, no, words matter. Words are so important. But the words that you hear as you go through your different difficulties have built you up to be able to be resilient against the words when they start throwing them at you. And you're like, well, you know what? They aren't going to break me because I'm stronger for it now. Mm-hmm. Tina, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I was going to say where you are now. I just wanted to rewind to those days. I think you said when your father would drive you by the houses or something, the foundation of your mindset. Because like I said, from last year to this year, you're like Barbara 2.0967 badillion number. You've grown so much, but it goes to that beginning stage, because some people are looking at you now and saying, I could never be like that. I could never be that powerful. Can you tell them how, and you were always powerful, because in one interview I said, you were talking to Grant Cardone or something, and did you feel like you were worthy? And you're like, yes, I've always felt worthy. So can you go back to those beginning stages?
We all have like imposter syndrome. Like I definitely go on to like different spaces, even on television. And there are people that are just better than me. and like that are just more articulate and more honed. And I'm like, oh my God, like they should do this. But the only way you get more articulate, more honed, better in any of your fields, any of the verticals that you aspire for, is to doing it. The only way to get better at anything is to do it over, it is through consistent repetition, through doing it over and over again. So I'm constantly trying to improve and trying to get better. You know, I do struggle because sometimes I can't find the words, Tina. Like sometimes I'm on like a Twitter space or even on Clubhouse, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm like, what happened? You know, I just, but I just have to settle into this zone of, I'm not here to be the best. I'm here to give my best. And sometimes in spaces, you're going to find yourself, you're not the best. You might be the worst, but that doesn't mean you can't get better. Just always give your best. And I just did like a turkey trot. It's one of my favorite things to do every year. And I'll land it there because when you show up at a turkey trot, because turkey trots are not races, they're really just fun 5Ks to do food drives for your local food bank, and all the community comes out because we're all going to be busting and disgusting at the end of the day. But we start off the day with doing this turkey trot. Why I talk about it is everyone is there to do their best. Very few people are there to be the best, like to win the turkey trot. I don't know. Like, are you going to get like a medal, a turkey hat? I don't know. Like what? There's not like.
I would want a turkey. Like, give me a turkey. They're expensive by the pound.
You're not going to end up on NBC Sports for winning a turkey trot. I don't know. But the thing is, so many different ages, races, all athleticism, body types, we're all there. People are pushing strollers and walking dogs, and you know, it's just this, you know, I don't know, robust cornucopia of humans showing up to give their best. And that, I think, is always the takeaway is you don't have to be the best, but you should always try to give your best, and your best should always be looking to be better than you were the last time. But trust me, I go on, I do these things and I'm like, ooh, those words did not line up together. And then I'll like lose my train of thought. I'm like, la, 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 la. Anyway.
I want to thank you for bringing this to the forefront. And I was about to ask you a question. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I was going to ask you, should I do some research and look into this? But I'm not Jewish. I'm not any of those. So no, I'm not doing any freaking research. Now, if it was something for the Black race, I'd be like, give me some news. So Thank you for bringing it to my audience, to Angeline, to everyone out there, to get the word out there. Thank you so much for being a part of Elevate Your Business, because you're elevating our business and you get that ripple effect. You're changing the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you want to leave us with any thoughts before the events?
I wish everyone an amazing holiday, and that I think I've said everything. Go today, be the best that you can be. Comparison is the thief of joy. So just do your best and let the chips fall where they will. That's it.
Yes. Elevate Your Business Summit. It's a 3-day virtual event. Barbara's coming on day number 2.
Day 2, she's showing up. Coming through.
She's closing out the event, kicking us with her more collective, with her energy, with her spice and everything. Thank you so much. Hugging you.
Thank you, Barbara. I love you. Bye. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ending the stream.